So, welcome, Chetan, Vivek, Abhijit. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you, of course, so much for taking us as partners in your journey. Let me very quickly introduce all three of you. Chetan, of course, before starting, you were the head of business of Leap Scholar and built the business from grounds up to what it is today. Prior to that, you used to work with another startup called Transact and used to head customer success and to an extent operations for them.
Yeah.
And Vivek have been in Oyo for, I think, donkey number of years. He's a Oyo veteran. Most recently, you were the head of the Oyo's vacation business, and prior to that, have wear a variety of hats, including marketing, including FinOps, and I'm sure there are a few more that I'm missing. And prior to that, you were in BCG. Abhijit, you were head of engineering at a fintech company called Skydo, and prior to that, you were head of engineering at Leap, where I believe you and Chetan met. And I'm sure there is a lot of story between the three of you and how Peeko came into being, and I'll let you talk about that story. But I also wanted to, for our audience, briefly talk about what was at least our thesis or point of view of investing in Peeko at the basement stage that we are in. For us, the primary attraction was the three of you. I think the chemistry that the three of you share because of the history, as well as I think the roles that you've had exposure to at a variety of your organizations has been just fantastic. So primary attraction was, I think, by far you. The secondary was the market, which is both baby and kids care products. I think, it's an attractive market. It's a large market. It's a fast-growing market. The spends on one's babies and kids, will only increase and compound over time. There is also an appetite to pay a higher gross margin when it comes to your kids. You cut corners for yourself, but for baby and kids, of course, you prioritize. And the third is the business model, which is vertical quick commerce destination for baby and kids products, spanning a variety of categories, whether it is apparel, consumables, toys, and whatnot. So within that, at least there are usually, three questions that we try to answer to assess if a category is amenable for a vertical quick commerce play. One is the category a quick commerce category? Second is, even if it is, why will the horizontals, the likes of Blinkit, etc., not win? And the third is, even if there is a vertical play, why will the economics pan out? Because eventually the market size is restricted to that vertical. So at least second and third, are not questions at all. To be honest, first, there are some very, very interesting hypotheses that we have on why it is a quick commerce category, and I'll let you talk about those hypotheses. But I feel that is one question which is to be answered. It's looking promising, but I think to be answered. So that was in a very, very high level three-pointer view, which led to at least our investment in you. But let me maybe, Chetan, ask you, why don't you talk about the ideation journey? I think there is a journey that all of you went through to build conviction on this idea. And how did you decide to partner with each other? Why don't you elaborate it for our audience?
Definitely. So first of all, Mang, thanks for having us. It's a pleasure to be here and to have you as a partner in this journey. We are very much excited to be partnering with Stellaris and you. The journey has been a long way where me, Vivek and Abhijit, three of us, we have been discussing about this. So we were particularly interested about the baby care segment for top three reasons. So a few of you which I already highlighted. The one being it's a large business in itself and growing at a double-digit kind of a CAGR. And while we try to understand and go deeper why it is growing so much, that answer is very, very clear. In the past few years, in the last 5-10 years, the growth which you have seen in many D2C brands or even the commerce platform like let's say Zomato or any other brand is primarily driven by millennials and Gen Zs, right? And these are the same set of people who have either just become parents, they have a kid of 2, 3, 4-year-old or going to become parents in the coming years. And it's a propensity of spending in kids is far more than what you spend in on yourself. There's a behavior in India which is very, very evident across all generation if you look into it. So it was very, very clear that in the next 10 to 15 years, there will be a very strong tailwind because millennials and Gen Zs have already shown this consumerism behavior. They have already taken, because of their disposable income, they are going for this consumption. And this is started transforming into the baby care segment. If you look at the data also, all the publications which have published in the last 4-5 years, you will see a sharp rise post-COVID in the baby care segment. There is a strong uplift in the consumption. So that was kind of an entry point for us. And then we went deeper just to look at the macro factors of the business, both distribution and supply side. So distribution, the biggest leading e-commerce player, is still sub 4-5% of the market, what is the market size over there. And similarly on the supply side, if you try to divide the market, maybe the products like diaper, wipes, some personal care item, which is hardly 20-25% of the consumption in the market, these are the only segment which is actually structured, or you can call it brand-led, where there is a very clear players or product out there. But the remaining 75%, which is your apparels or accessories, shoes, toys, it's very unstructured, very fragmented. So from there we realized, okay, it's a market which is strong, growing at a double-digit CAGR. Distribution side, there's a clear gap. Supply side, there's a clear gap. And from there, we realized there's a huge white space over here where we can go deeper and start building. And from there, our journey started. And then we started talking to more and more consumers and building our thesis from here.
Chetan, why don't you talk about some of the customer anecdotes that you uncovered during the pilot?
Yeah. So basically, when we started going deeper, so from this macro understanding of how the market is behaving and what the different players are, so we started speaking to more and more consumers, spoke to almost like 200 odd consumers, especially mothers over here because they are the main consumer. What we realized is in their mind broadly, there are two segments or two divisions. So one is like health and safety. So anything and everything related to, let's say, diaper, wipes, personal care, or even hard goods like stroller, car seat. This comes under the health and safety category. So they will try to do as much research as possible, and then whatever is the best for their babies, they will go for it. So over here, if they can afford, let's say, a 10,000 rupees product, they will go for 12,000. So the criteria is what can I do best for my babies, and basis that the decision making is done. That's why you will see over here, you will see a lot of brands coming in, be it diapers, be it brands like R4Rabbit and all. Whereas similarly, when you go to the other segment, because this segment is hardly 20-25% of the consumption, the other side, which is 75%, which is your largely accessories, apparels, accessories, shoes, toys, etc. It starts with a very high emotional spending because as a parent, we would like to do whatever is best for the our kids. But very soon we realize that, okay, the kid is outgrowing. I buy an apparel, after 2 months it's not useful, or 3 months it's not useful. You buy a toy, kid is not going to play with that or throw it, or some way they are going to lose it, right? So you start from a very high emotional spending, move to a value seeking behavior and a utilitarian behavior. So this is also something which came out very clearly when we started talking to the moms and started asking them, okay, fine, you don't want to buy a 2,000 rupees ka onesie, but if you're buying something, how do you decide what apparel to buy? So the criteria is very plain and simple. It has to be a cotton. No other fabric will do. It has to be a cotton. And then let's say if your baby is 2 to 3 year old or lesser than that, then small functional needs. For example, as simple as a button. Button should not be something which they can tear it off and swallow. Very simple requirement, functional requirement, but very simple and important for the mother. If it's an elastic should not be hard enough, which pinches the body of the baby. And these are the things which they look for. Apart from this, it has to be largely cute. Obviously, so some color forms are there over the pastel color mostly, which works well for India. As well as, I'm talking about the casual wear, not the party wear or the ethnic wear. Similarly for the toys, plastic has to be of good quality, but no sharp edges, nothing small which can be swallowed. So these are very small functional needs as well as a value seeking behavior which drives the consumption over here. So from there we realize, and then we ask the question back to our consumers, ki if you really are looking for these kind of utilitarian purchases, do you really need a 2 lakh SKU or 3 lakh SKU width? Is this important for you? And the answer was very plain and simple. We don't need this, because that's the only option for us, which is, let's say, semi-convenient or which we can access easily. That's why we end up going over there. We are more than happy. And in fact, if you look at the offline penetration for the baby care segment, is still the highest. If you look at the women fashion, is almost 35% is the online penetration. E-commerce has gone almost 30-35% in the penetration, whereas in the baby care segment is hardly 12%. Because these small things, you don't consumer does not need 2 lakh or 3 lakh SKU. They don't need that kind of width. What they're looking for is a product at a right price point and with some functional utility. And for that, what we realized is even if you create an SKU mix for a given micro geography, which is let's say 15-20,000, for which will in comparison to retail would be at least 3 to 4 times larger, that's a good enough assortment for the consumer to satisfy all their needs, as well as whatever convenience was missing, we add on top of that.
While I think that was our learning as well, while I think few lakhs of selection is not needed, but there is a certain amount of selection which is still needed, which we believe horizontal quick commerce companies will not be able to fulfill because of two parameters that you mentioned. One is the designs need to be cute.
Right.
So at least one needs to look at a couple of such designs. And second is because the child outgrows fast, the sizing in the category is quite a bit.
Exactly.
So both these two parameters lead to at least a certain amount of selection needed, which at least you don't need, few lakhs, but
it will
few hundreds will also not cut it.
Yeah, exactly. So it will be definitely in tens of thousands kind of limit, which has to be created for the consumer to give them enough assortment for them to make a choice and get benefited from it, for sure.
Vivek, why don't you also talk about the pilot that we ran, the scope? And what will be fantastic to hear is some customer anecdotes which convinced all of you to jump into this.
Yeah, thanks, Mayank. So continuing on what Chetan said, that the thing we understood was that a large assortment was not necessary for a mother to make the right choice for her kid. And with that very thesis that if we give a right selection of apparels, baby care categories, toys, will we see customer coming to our platform the first time, then coming back and repeating on our platform? What kind of AUV we'll see? And will customer buy products which are already available, let's say on a quick commerce website like a Blinkit or a Zepto, right? So with these theses in mind, we ran a pilot where we created a collection of apparels, toys, personal care items, and we ran it for a month to see what the results are. And to our surprise, the results were quite astounding. I'll start with apparel. Apparel is about 60-65% of overall purchase in the category. And what we saw was that even we were able to get the similar sale percentage. But within that, what we saw that when we gave equal space to all the brands, even the known unknown brands which sell in your, let's say, local retail store, were doing pretty well on our website, which proves that the functional requirement which Chetan was mentioning, that they require cute design, they need fresh looks, but it's more also utility driven, and pricing needs to be very sharp. So in kids category, if you are below 600, 700, and that also varies by category, then that's the price point which most of the moms are looking for. And we actually, with our research backing this pilot, we actually created a lot of range in that. We had some premium object as well. But what we saw is the main idea was that will the known unknown brands sell well when they are competing with some of the known brands which are out there in the market, let's say Baby Hug, Mini Club, etc. And exactly that is what we saw, that even the known unknown brands, some of the brands like Zero and Cucumbers of the world were doing equally well. So that was number one. Number two, what we saw was that the repeat rate was quite high. Even with our limited assortment, we saw that within a period of 30 days, about 32% of the customer came back. And the next time when they came back, they actually spent more. So the AOV increased for these set of customer from 900 rupees to 1200 rupees. So that was quite interesting for us. The third thing we also saw was that our share of personal care item, which are the items you find on your Blinkit and Zeptos, was also 30-35%. And some of the interesting stories we have when we went to the customer and we asked that, okay, this very diaper is available on other platform, why are you buying from us? So amongst the many other reasons, some of the interesting reasons which they called out was that, okay, these platforms sell everything from your vegetable to meat. I don't know how well they are storing my baby diapers. So you are baby specialist. I trust your platform more, so hence I am buying from you. Some others said, and this is about mind perception, that some said that, okay, the stuff we find on these platforms are actually very close to expiry, and that's why probably they are discounting it so much. And when I use them, I see some white marks on my baby. And hence I trust you more because I've purchased from you 2-3 times and your products don't leave that white mark. So some of these anecdotes made us believe that there is a big space in mind of consumer for a vertical quick commerce, especially in this segment where trust is very, very important. So based on these theses, we became very confident that AOV is very high, repeat rate is very high. The market is not valuing, let's say, brand and pricing in apparel and toy segment. They are valuing more utility with the right cuteness and right pricing. So with these things in mind, we are very confident that there is a business to be made.
I think how you know each other and each of yours journey is also very, very interesting. I think, why don't you talk about it? How did you come together as a team? How have you known each other from the past?
So actually, me and Vivek, we go way back. So we have known each other almost for 18 years now. Studied together. Our first job was together. We were flatmates, and so spent a lot of time together. And we have been constantly kind of brainstorming with each other what to do next. And even for this idea, actually, we have started discussing with each other almost 1.5-2 years back. We want to build something together. Same, me and Abhijit, we were pretty much, Abhijit is the one who hired me in Leap. It's a story for another time. But
I've heard about the rigorous interviews that
it took 2 hours of interview I've given to be in, to work with Abhijit over there. But it was a phenomenal journey with Abhijit. So we are pretty much, I think we were the first 5-6 people in Leap over there, built it from the scratch, and me, Abhijit, was leading the entire tech side, product side, and I was looking on the business side, partly on the product side. So we kind of worked hand in hand to build that business out for the next 2.5-3 years, and kind of seen each other, how we operate, how kind of build a camaraderie to kind of operate and build a business at scale. So that kind of brought all three of us together, and then we used to kind of jam and discuss our ideas, and slowly it built into a very strong team and foundation for us.
Like they say in the hostel life, the senior who rags you the most, you end up becoming the best friends.
Yeah.
So I think a similar played out between the two of you.
Yeah.
And Vivek, I know that you've known Chetan for donkey years, and I think, even as socially, you both are good friends. Why don't you talk about your journey from KGP to Deutsche Bank and to how you reached here?
So KGP, I think it was a moment to relish. 5 years there, chemical engineering. I graduated in chemical engineering. Got my first job with Deutsche Bank. That was day zero, first hour job. So quite happy, and Chetan joined along with me. Worked there on investment banking side, on structuring desk. Did that for about 3 years. Then I wanted to do my MBA, and I got through both ISB and IIM Bangalore, but one criteria I had in mind that I wanted to play cricket, and IIM Bangalore had a beautiful cricket ground. So I decided to join IIM Bangalore. There was the Dean Merit List, got an internship with BCG, converted that into PPO. Worked with BCG for almost 1.5 years, largely with the Ministry of Road Transport and Highway as the client, with the mandate, how do you expedite highway construction in India, whatever it takes, whether it's financing, whether it's grassroots level intervention, whether it's policy level changes, contract level changes. So did that, travel across the length and breadth of the country, again, to understand what are the challenges with road construction. While doing that, I got a call from OYO, some of the seniors, like you mentioned, seniors who rag you most, search for you the most. So got a call from a senior asking if I'd like to join OYO journey. Sounded very fascinating that this was a brand which was looking to go global, and the category itself seemed very interesting. So I said yes, joined that as...
and I believe you and Chetan were, in addition to, I think, working together at Deutsche Bank, you were also, I think, flatmates.
Yeah. I have made a lot of tea for Chetan, so that's something which I'm getting repeat. But jokes apart, yes, we were flatmates, and we understand, and hence we understand each other's way of working very well. So just was very comfortable that if I have to build a business, who that person is, obviously Chetan was on top of that list. And like Chetan was mentioning that during 2023, late 2023, I was traveling to Germany, and I remember clearly that it was fine evening in Germany. I had called him and I said that I would like to now take that plunge of building a business. And he was in the similar mind space, and it was like stars aligned. And we decided to.
No, I think your chemistry was very, very evident for us during the entire process. Let me go to Abhijit. Abhijit, why did you decide to partner with both, I think, Vivek and Chetan, as well as, on this specific idea?
Sure. So, as Chetan mentioned that I have been working with him in Leap. So he used to be my business counterpart. So we used to already do a lot of brainstorming on how to grow the business, what to build on the product side, etc., etc. And we used to work, mingle together. Used to work very closely together, and used to enjoy it a lot. So that was the time when I left Leap and had joined another startup. Then the Chetan and Vivek, I met Vivek via Chetan. So then we also became very good close friends. So that was the journey. Eventually, when Chetan and Vivek reached out to me and they mentioned that they are looking to start up, so that was something I wanted to do, something like that. So I have started up on my own previously as well. So that was something in my mind that I want to do this on my own, and that's how we met.
Fantastic. Let's, I think, delve more on the idea. Maybe Chetan, can you, for our audience, paint a picture of our ideal customer?
Got it. So our consumer is actually moms. While we are selling baby care products, but our actual consumer decision making is done by the mother. So our consumer is largely in the age group of anywhere between 27 to 40 years, household income of anywhere between 10 to 50 lakhs, living in the top 70-80 cities of India, the model which we are starting with, and while in the future the persona will evolve, but right now in the top 50 to 70 cities of India. And basically all of these are already tech savvy. They are already a consumer of the platform, like either the Quickcommerce companies or FirstCry or something like that. So this is where our sweet spot lies, and as we keep on growing, the persona will evolve.
Would love to, I think, delve into our value proposition, or at least our hypothesis at this stage in more detail. So let's take apparel as a category, given it's the large chunk of the category. So compared to, a mom going to a nearby market or a set of apparel stores and, feeling and checking the quality of the apparel size, especially given the sensitivity, given it's a baby or a kid. I mean, what are the inefficiencies, in this customer journey that I just outlined?
Great. So this is actually one of the most core thing which we are going to solve for the mothers over here. So if you ask the mothers, moms, okay, well, how do you shop and what do you do? So the options are either online or offline. Online, the leading e-commerce player, 65 to 70% of the SKUs are delivered 2 days and beyond. And for whatever reason, which happens very frequently, by the way, almost 25 to 30% is the return case. If it has to be returned, it's anywhere again 3 to 10 days. So a simple, let's say a pack of 3 t-shirts, a pack of 5 pajamas or something like that, which ideally for a consumer should not take more than a day. In online could be anywhere between 2 to 10 days. So it's a huge inefficiency over there. The alternate to it for them, because there's only 1 or 2 platforms where they can shop online, the alternate to it is you drive out, you go for travel for 30, 40, 1 hour, whatever the however far you're living from the store, shop over there and come back. Again, another 1.5 to 2 hours minimum, and highly inconvenient also given the traffic conditions and all. So what we realized is over here, if you can create the right assortment for the consumer and enable the try and buy for them, that is a game changer. And I'll tell you why it is a game changer for them. For the mom, touch and feel matters, fabric matters, and the slide design patterns matter. If we can deliver to the mom, give the packet to them, they'll literally open the packet, touch it, feel it, and if it's let's say a t-shirt or a top, they will just open it by the shoulder and measure it whether it's the right size for them. Now this entire process of sizing the cloth or trying and buying is hardly 30 seconds to 1 minute. And this is the nuance in the baby care segment which makes it very big difference for us. If we can offer to the consumer, they're getting the touch and feel which they're looking for, they're getting the right assortment which we are already building for, and all of this happening while sitting at their home. They don't have to go anywhere. So entire shopping experience is covered in that next 30 to 60 minutes when we'll deliver. So it's a win for them, but it's a huge win for us also. Why? My delivery partner anyways has to go from dark store to the consumer. this try and buy process, even if it takes 2 to 3 minutes extra, it does not add much to our delivery cost. In fact, it will be higher delivery cost if I actually ask my delivery partner to return and then go again for taking the piece back. So because of this nuance of try and buy for the baby care category, I can make the consumer win and be very happy and create a game-changing experience for them, which is neither available online, neither available offline, while making a very sound unit business for ourselves. So we had these anecdotes from our POC also on this. So we were actually doing this in our POC. So if let's say consumer have ordered something, we'll just take 2 pieces extra because we know the age group already. We'll take 2 pieces extra and just show it to the consumer. You will not believe, in 60% of the cases we are able to sell that extra piece also because of whole convenience. Like, it's right at your doorstep. You're able to touch and feel. You know the cloth now. There's nothing better than that if you can get it piece in your home and you can just purchase it. So
yeah, no, I think the other challenge that in general e-commerce for apparel has had is a poor basket size of around 1.5, which dampens your AOV and consequently unit economics. If you can bring some of that offline elements, potentially the mother will be willing to buy more.
yes,
And this platform could see a basket size at least closer to or a little less than offline.
yeah.
Vivek, I wanted to, spend some time on the toys category, at least as a parent of a 8-year-old now, but I have struggled to get enough selection of toys on the horizontal quick commerce platform. Sure, for gifting to a birthday party, I get something.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I both don't get the quality of toys and enough selection of toys.
Yeah.
At least my daughter is not happy with it.
Yeah.
Is it just me or is it the market that other customers also face similar issues?
Spot on there, Mayank. I think the rapid commerce or quick commerce businesses which exist today are solving for the gifting use case. So if you see the assortment, it has been more skewed towards that kind of use case because people are looking for last minute gifting needs. And hence you'll see that generally the toys which are available is north of $500-700, which you generally don't use for self-consumption. And that is what we are challenging again, that if there is a lot of self-consumption need which is unmet today, and that is what we heard from the customers, where they are looking for good quality toys. Quality utility is still important, but the pricing is equally important, where the pricing needs to be below 500, and there are varied needs. There are learning and education need, there are just casual play need, there are play date needs, there are social gathering needs. So there are different use cases within toys as well, where mothers are looking for specific toys for arts and craft, for learning books. So all this is currently missing in the existing rapid commerce platform. That is what we'll bring in our offering that will solve for smaller use cases so that the mind space of the customers from the toys perspective could be won.
See, I understand for both apparel and toys, these are categories with a long tail of selection, very unorganized category, affordability is important for the customer. And horizontals, I don't think will ever do a great job.
Yeah.
But I struggle to answer for consumables, your diapers, your wipes, your baby creams, other personal care products. I think by and large, one gets quite a bit of it on horizontal quick commerce platforms.
Correct.
What is the right to win in this category specifically?
Yeah, so I'll answer it with 3 points, Mayank. One, while agreeing to the fact that we'll be competing with quick commerce service providers in this aspect, but how we plan to defend ourselves against this competition, first is obviously going to be assortment. That even today, if you see quick commerce assortment, they have almost all the brand, but within that also they have certain SKUs. So one is just enlarging that SKU width. Second would be just ensuring that with our categories like apparel, toys, stationeries, we really go deep and we win the mind space, so that whenever there is a use case for baby, the first brand which comes to their mind is our brand. And third is just by the virtue of being a vertical player, doing stuff which basically helps mothers, or maybe it's community, maybe it's some other services, creating those services which again reimposes their faith on our platform that this is a kids specialist. They are thinking about my kids' safety, hygiene and everything, and hence they will come to our platform. So basically these are the 3 pillars where we think we'll be able to defend competition from existing quick commerce players.
Yeah, no, I think that came out in our diligence as well. I think horizontal quick commerce is just a very different business model.
Correct.
They hate inventory days. They want to just only stock fast-moving inventory, and there is
Yes.
a brutal battle for space allocation.
Correct.
And there is just, I think, brutal optimization for gross margin per square feet. Some of
Yes.
these depth in diapers, I think, never surfaces
Correct.
in the way they work. No, fair enough. Abhijit, of course, technology is very likely at the core of the business. Can you articulate, which are the aspects of the business where we plan to use technology?
Sure. So I think one of the major themes that we are going to work on is what kind of assortments do we show to the user, maybe based on his geographical location or his past purchases. That would be one. And second would be, so see, some of the aspects that we have talked about earlier, right, which will be the try and buy aspect is something that we are betting on. So enabling try and buy, if, for example, let's say a parent, orders a particular apparel, and do we take along with it something similar, which we can then somehow maybe create some data layer around it that this apparel goes hand in hand with something of this SKU, and maybe we can maybe create that sort of assortment around try and buy.
Right. And no, Abhijit, I think the other day, I think you were talking about this idea where for a customer who has a certain vintage with us, we would be in a position to forecast, what styles they might need before, they call it aloud. So we can send a box to them for them to choose, and whatever they don't like, they can return. I think that was a very, very interesting idea, which can potentially drive more spends from the customers.
Other thing would be around the warehouse efficiency. So the efficiency around our dark stores. So this is something that we'll have to figure out, that how do we do for this particular segment, for this particular vertical business. Mostly it will be around what kind of stocks should we forecast and pre-order, so that we don't run out of it when the customer actually trying to order for those, etc.
Right. I would love to also, I think, discuss the economics of the business, and Chetan and Vivek, either of you can take this.
So look, Mayank, the way we think about this business is it's somewhere in between e-commerce, online commerce, and retail store. So while our selling is very much in line with the retail store, the way we market is like a online commerce store. So while some of the items which you'll see in our P&L statement will be like warehouse cost, store operating cost, right? But at the same time, you'll see action item like online marketing cost. So the way we look economics is slightly different than what we have been looking into, because there are these two elements of cost which represent both offline and online world. Today we look at cost as a blended margin, and what is the cost we are incurring per delivery. Looking at what we believe will be the right mix of product, we look at overall margin. We believe that this margin will be in the vicinity of 40%, considering clothes, toys, and hard goods are going to be a majority category which will be driving margins for us. AOV, we believe, will be able to do 700. In our pilot, we did 850 on an average. So we feel that just based on the category we are working in, the 700 numbers looks very feasible, because typically a basket is of either 3 clothes, there's a personal care item which costs you around 500-600, there's diapers which is again 600-700 bucks. So we believe that the AOV would be comfortably close to 700, 40% margin, gross margin. And then comes the variable cost. Variable cost as in our delivery cost, our store operating cost, and our warehousing cost or rental cost. If I combine, basically our delivery cost is going to be somewhere in the range of 6 to 8%. Our operating cost is going to be in the range of 4-5%. And our rental cost, which is our store rental and our warehouse rental cost, will be again in the range of 5 to 6%. So overall, we believe that our store level CM or store level EBITDA will be in the range of 20 to 24%. This is without considering some of the other charges which we feel we can charge, which other quick commerce players have been charging, like the platform fees, the convenience fees, etc. So we feel that the economics are quite strong here at the store level, and hence which will enable us to basically keep on growing in different parts of the country.
Very interesting.
And one point I would like to highlight over the biggest difference for us versus when we were evaluating this entire thing and why we believe it will be a strong unit economic business is the higher AOV combined with a higher gross margin, because that creates the huge difference. While for all practical purposes for our category, the frequency will be slightly lower than for the what it is for the grocery shopping, but a higher AOV and a very high gross margin allows you to have a CM1 of 20-24% and then build a very profitable business in the long run.
Yeah. No, I think, Vivek, I think your statement about being in between online commerce and offline is indeed true. I think one way I think of the economics is one of the leading vertical e-commerce players, does $100 for an annual transacting customer across, 4 orders. You're saying that, quick commerce will lead to breaking of the cart.
Correct.
So AOVs will come down relatively compared to e-commerce, but the frequency will go up proportionately.
Yes.
Or compared to the offline store, I think in the Blinkit's recent quarterly they have compared their economics with that of offline stores. What was very refreshing to see is the profitability profile of Blinkit is on the lower side compared to offline store because of the added cost of delivery, which a store doesn't have. But that being said, the SPSF or the throughput per square feet is a lot higher.
Correct.
And the cash turns are a lot higher.
Correct.
Leading to a much higher ROCE overall.
Correct.
So often for our businesses, it's not just EBITDA that matters, but I think ROCE encapsulates a variety of factors.
Yeah.
Right, and I assume while, of course, try and buy, we'll have to try and see if it works out or not. But if it does, at least it brings the promise of a much reduced RTO and returns profile, which is, of course, a key P&L drag for e-commerce companies, in apparel specifically.
Right.
Chetan would love to also understand that, when are we launching? What are some of our plans in the near to mid-term?
Right. So we are going to launch very soon, probably. So we are already doing our beta testing within a closed group of friends as well as our old set of customers. So in the next few weeks, we'll see a proper launch across Bangalore. The mid-term to long-term kind of 6 months to 12-month thought process is we like to first achieve this PMF, and in the PMF we have kind of very categorically we have 2 things we are chasing after. One is, can we acquire the customer and why are customer coming to us? And second is, at what frequency the retained customers are kind of shopping with us. So these are the 2 very strong metrics which we are going to focus on. But at the same time, on the consumer side, what we are trying to solve for is the right assortment, because this is going to make the huge difference. What assortment we are keeping at what price point, what is the refresh rate, is what is going to drive the repeat rate for us and even the acquisition for us. That is one thing, and enabling this whole convenience piece. So I would like to very clearly call out, while we are building a quick commerce company and for this particular category, but we believe convenience is not just limited to the 30 to 60 minutes delivery. That's just one element of it. We have spoken at length about try and buy, which we put it within the bucket of the convenience. And third is the whole instant return. So if you recall the point of anywhere between 3 to 10 days to return a product, a very simple product, which is what we want to solve for. So these are the 3 buckets within the convenience which we want to solve for in the next 12 months and create a product and the process layer around it.
Right. I think, and specifically our customer is very unique in the sense that there is reduced mobility and a lot of time constraint.
Yes.
So I think some of this convenience can serve as a delight.
Even shopping with a kid can be challenging. I'm a father to a 3-year-old son, and taking him for shopping can be nightmare, to say the least.
No, absolutely. And I think, very recently, of course, we launched a dark store. And I think you and me were discussing that a lot of this is just such an analytical problem. What to stock, what sells,
Yes.
when to reorder. And I think that is right in the playground of Vivek's.
Yes.
No, fantastic. I think really, really look forward to this, journey of business building in this category, doing a lot of innovations and seeing where it takes us. But lovely to have partnered in this journey. And thank you so much for having
Same
me.
here.
Same here, Mayank.
Thanks a lot, Mang.